You don't need to have it all figured out. Seriously. Even if part of you is telling yourself you should, you actually don't. You don't need to fix your whole life overnight. You don't need to suddenly become this healed, productive, glowing version of yourself by next week. You don't even need to know what comes next. You are allowed to be figuring it out. You are allowed to still be learning. You are allowed to just be in progress. That's not failure. That's not falling behind. That's real life. And to be honest, I wish someone had told me that a lot sooner. Like, actually sat me down and said, hey, you're doing just fine. You don't need to fix it all right now. Because growing up, I did not have the language for what I was feeling. I wasn't out here saying, this is my nervous system reacting, or this is just pressure. That wasn't even something I thought about. It was more like, if something didn't feel right, I would avoid it. I would wait. I would hope it would just pass. And to be honest, I didn't even know that was a pattern. It just felt like me needing peace. But now I see it more clearly. The silence, the freeze, the waiting, it was all just a quiet version of pressure. Not a loud, intense kind, but the kind that hides underneath the surface. Because pressure doesn't always show up loud or obvious. Sometimes it's soft. Sometimes it shows up as zoning out or avoiding things or pretending to be super busy just so you don't have to feel what you haven't done yet. Some people push everything away. Some people overthink everything to the point of shutting down. Some people feel tired even though they haven't done anything. And other people might just keep moving nonstop so they don't have to sit with the discomfort of not being there yet. And honestly, all of those are responses to the same thing, that inner belief that we should already be further along. Like, why am I still dealing with this? Or what's wrong with me that this still comes up? And the truth is, even after years of doing inner work, I still catch myself thinking that sometimes, just in new or different ways. Because growth isn't something you graduate from. It's something you move through again and again in different layers. And every time you meet a new version of yourself, a little bit of the old stuff shows up too, just so you can learn to move with it differently. Life is not about being perfect. It's about becoming aware. It's about noticing what comes up and asking, is this how I want to respond? If not, that is your cue. That is where you get to choose again. You don't have to change everything overnight. But even making one new decision today, that is movement. And let's not forget, that middle space where you're not who you used to be, but you're also not quite who you are becoming yet. Yeah, that part is tough because it is so unclear. It's uncomfortable. It feels like nothing is really clicking yet. That's the part that makes most people pause because you are not fully out of the old, but the new doesn't even exist yet either. And it's tempting to just stop there and wait for clarity to come. But clarity doesn't always show up first. In fact, most of the time, it comes after you've started, after you take the first step, even if it's wobbly, even if it's small. Because the goal isn't to get it right. The goal is to move, even a little. Because the more you wait to feel 100% ready, the more pressure builds. And that pressure becomes the very thing that keeps you stuck. So if you are in that place right now where everything feels kind of quiet, kind of heavy, and nothing feels obvious, this is your reminder that you are not doing it wrong. You are in progress. You are in motion, even if it doesn't look like it yet. This video is part of my Things I Wish I Learned Sooner series. And this lesson right here, it changed everything for me once it actually landed. Not just as a quote, but like in my body, in my actions. Because yeah, most people aren't stuck because they don't care. They're stuck because they're overwhelmed. And let's be real, that overwhelm isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's just sitting there doing nothing, scrolling, zoning out, talking yourself out of trying. Sometimes it's looking at your whole to-do list and then feeling like none of it is possible today. That's not laziness. That is your nervous system saying, this feels like too much. So what do you do then? You zoom out, you breathe, and you ask, what is one small thing I can do today that feels like love? And you do that. Even if it's drinking water, even if it's putting on music while you clean, even if it's just noticing your thoughts without judging them. That is what real progress looks like. Not a perfect glow up, not a 30-day transformation, just a series of small choices made from self-awareness. Even stopping halfway through a negative thought and saying, wait, I don't want to keep going with this. That is growth. You're not failing because something came up again. You are learning how to respond differently this time. And sure, that might not always feel like a big win, but it is. So let's be real. There are days you will feel like everything is clicking, and other days where you will feel like you are back at square one. That's part of being human. That doesn't mean you're starting over. It just means you are moving through another layer. And what really matters is that you don't stop showing up for yourself, even in the smallest ways. Because healing is a choice you make more than once. It's not a goal to reach, it's a way of living. It's how you treat yourself in the in-between moments, how you handle yourself when the old reactions try to come back. You don't need to fix everything today. You just need to stay curious and open and connected to what feels true to you. And while you're at it, try not to miss the small wins. You being more self-aware than you were before, that counts. You being kinder to yourself, that counts. You not letting one setback ruin your whole day, that is huge. So if you needed this reminder today, if this softened something in you, this is your sign that you are already doing so much better than you think. You are not behind, you are not too late. You are right on time with a version of you that is learning how to move through things in a new way. And that version of you, they're not waiting. They are already becoming. If this video helped you, go ahead and give it a like, drop a comment, and let me know what landed for you. And subscribe so you don't miss the next video in this series, because you are not meant to do this alone. You deserve softness, you deserve support, and you deserve to grow in peace. So take a deep breath. You are doing great. And with all of that being said, let's keep rising together.